I want to be Mr. Olympia.
I gotta keep proving you motherfuckers wrong, you know, and I'll keep doing it every single year. Keep watching.
Hi guys, welcome back with the another update of Mr. Olympia 2023. We are almost 3 weeks away from the most prestigious show, and this year 24 bodybuilders managed to qualify. So let's have a look at the complete lineup update. Samson is coming with the strong mindset of winning the Mr. Olympia title, and this is only his second attempt to the Mr. Olympia. He has straight tunnel vision, no distraction at all, and he's very focused, working on his goal every single day until he steps on Mr. Olympia stage.
We are officially less than 4 weeks out from the Olympia. This is going to be the hardest week in this prep so far for me, and I just feel like death. I just feel like, man, I can't move. My body's trembling and shaking. I am already feeling, I'm even holding on to trees to stay standing up, and I'm still avoiding myself from shaking now. Because when I stand on that Olympia stage, you're all going to see something different. You're all going to see something that we haven't seen in a long time.
His coach Milosavljev believes that he's going to beat Nick Walker again, as he has beautiful shape, structure and aesthetics.
I mean, Samson's going to beat him in balance and shape and aesthetics. He cannot out-freak Samson, so he can out-freak smaller guys, right? He has the bigger arms, and it's end of story.
And as we know, in Arnold Classic he was at 296 pounds, and for this Olympia he has made drastic improvements. He has put on a lot of size on his back, so he will be around 300 pounds on Olympia stage. And I think if he brings the best condition of his life, he has huge potential to be the last man standing in Olympia.
Oh yeah, love it. I'm looking to take the title. That is my goal. I want to be Mr. Olympia. This year, I want to be much improved.
Lunford has a clear goal to win the Mr. Olympia. He's 30 years old, second best bodybuilder on planet, and he has a lot of room to improve compared to Hadi Choopan. He is more aesthetically pleasing with better shape and lines. And interestingly, this is his second men's open Olympia, and no one has him out of top 3 for Olympia predictions. And I think he is the biggest threat for Hadi Choopan. He is looking phenomenal in his recent updates, and I hope he peaks well for Olympia. And there is a huge possibility we see Derek as a new men's open Olympia winner. One of the most aesthetically pleasing bodybuilders in the lineup, Andrew Jack, is working harder and smarter to make some crucial improvements under the guidance of coach Chris Aceto and his trainer Chris Lewis. Many fans, even experts, have him no lower than top 5 in their predictions. So it will be interesting to see what improvements Andrew brings to move up in the lineup this year. He has not beaten Brandon Curry and Nick Walker yet, but he has valid chance to crack top 5 this time. Roman Fritz completed again with a very impressive package for the last time before Olympia, and he gave a very tough time to Theo Laguerre, but at the end Theo managed to defeat him, and he finally earned his Olympia qualification by winning the last European Olympia qualifier show, Italian Olympus Pro 2023. On the other hand, in USA we had Legend Sports Fest Pro as the last show for Olympia qualification, and coach Matt Jensen athlete Charles Griffin won the show with his tremendous package. I have him finishing in the top 10 in Olympia, even though he has a prominent pec tier, but he's still very dangerous for the Olympia lineup. Italian sensation Andrea Presti gave a glimpse of his physique 4 weeks prior to the show. He's weighing in at 282 pounds in the updates. Andrea has wide clavicles, tremendous shoulders to waist ratio, but his lower half is not as impressive as his upper half, and coach Mauro Sassi is focusing on improving his legs this time, and he's hopeful to see Andrea in the top 10 this year.
I will do the best with Andrea. I hope top 10 is the dream.
Unlike last year, the mass monster Hassan Mustafa is the only Egyptian this year in the men's open Olympia. This year he was not as impressive conditioning wise as we saw him last year while working with coach AJ Sims, but if he finds the right formula to nail his conditioning and manage to peak well for Olympia under the guidance of coach Chad Nichols, I think with the absence of Ian Valier, he has a solid chance to crack top 10 this year. I'm personally expecting huge improvements from Michal Krijo as he's focusing more on his conditioning and improving his weak spots. In my opinion, he has the best arms development right now in the men's open bodybuilding. Most likely we won't see him in the first call out this year, but he has huge potential to be Mr. Olympia in future. Regan Grimes has shared his last physique update where he is 4.5 weeks out. He looks a lot fuller, especially his chest has a lot of fullness and thickness if we compare this physique update to his recent shows. So if he does manage to bring that fullness and sharper look, then I think he is surely moving up in the lineup this year. But bodybuilding expert Dennis James has criticized Regan for using filters on his Instagram pictures, which he says it does not work on stage.
Regan used filters. I mean, of course that doesn't work. You don't use filters to make yourself look sharper. Come on now. Because you hurt yourself. Because when you step on stage, people say, oh, that's not even the same person. This is what hurt Regan.
Whereas Dennis believes Nathan Dasha will be mixed in the top 10 this year.
6 to 10 is anything's possible.
Also, Nathan sees himself no lower than 8th place in his return to the most prestigious show after 5 years. In his recent podcast, he also revealed his goal that he either wants to win Mr. Olympia or he will retire by winning 20 pro shows.
Retire at 20 wins, or we'll retire when we get to the.
Another athlete of coach Matt Jensen, Justin Shire, who is prepping for his first attempt in the Mr. Olympia. He will be definitely few pounds heavier in the Olympia than his winning performance in Chicago Pro. 5 feet 8 inches tall, Justin has gained 16 pounds of size since his first pro win in the end of July, and he's constantly working harder and he keeps aiming that he will be in the top 10 this year.
If I fucking nail it, but top 10 is actually a possibility. So like there's still that fire burning in my belly that, you know, I can maybe sneak in that top 10 at my first Olympia.
This week we have got several physique updates from Brandon Curry. Fans and experts are not having him in the conversation as a potential threat for the title this year, as Milos Sarchev and Chris Cormier shared their top 5 predictions and they do not see Brandon cracking top 5 this year.
Samson, Hadi, Derek, Nick, and Andrew.
I'm back to Hadi. I'm still going to go with Derek, because then I got Samson, and then I got Nick, then I got Andrew.
But to be honest, I'm very hopeful that Brandon still has a lot of potential. Since 2019, it was arguably the least impressive Brandon we saw in last year's Olympia. So technically, Nick Walker did not beat the best version of Brandon last year, and obviously Brandon does not need to play the size game this year. He will be sharper and harder this time. So I think he's going to be one of the front runners of the show, and I have him in my top 5 predictions. Nick Walker is certainly looking improved compared to his last prep. His chest shoulders look improved, more developed. Especially his outer quad sweep is bigger and much better in the comparison with his last year and Arnold Classic. And he keeps his midsection under control. Comparatively, he looks sharper and he seems to have more muscle maturity this time, which he explained in his recent HD Muscle podcast as well.
I also think this year I have a lot more muscle maturity. I think on stage, when everything's said and done, it'll be like a 262.
Nick has got a plan and he's executing it tremendously. He's planning to bring a bigger and harder package this time. He was at 246 pounds in Arnold Classic this year, and he says he will be 16 pounds heavier at the 2023 Mr. Olympia. Reigning Mr. Olympia Hadish Swan is right now under the direct supervision of his coach Hany Rambod. Hadi is doing his best to bring another Sandow Trophy back to his homeland, and he's not going to let down his country by any means. Last year Hadi was not in his trademark crisp, dry, hard conditioning, especially from back, but he made significant improvements in size department, which led him to be invincible on stage. And this year Hadi has to bring a better version, as Samson is improved a lot, Derek is looking very dangerous, and most presumably it will be the best Hadi on stage. I just hope he brings his fuller and bigger legs, especially more prominent outer quad sweeps, which he had couple of years before. And I think with the combination of his improved upper half, overall muscle maturity, with all his crazy striations, extremely sharp conditioning, and with the 2019 version of his legs, this combination will be unbeatable in my opinion. Phil Clar has shared his physique update 4.5 weeks out to his debut for the Mr. Olympia. He has incredible arms development, impressive chest and shoulders, and great muscle maturity with some obvious shortcomings in his physique, such as his legs, especially his midsection. But possibly he will be the oldest contestant on stage, and he will surely make some damage in the Olympia. As the oldest contestant in the lineup, Kamal or Ghani most likely is not doing the Olympia. This is presumably the most stressful prep for Behrouz Sabani, where he is unsure throughout his whole prep whether he will get his visa or he will sit out of Mr. Olympia again. I think at this stage, 25 days out, he won't get into USA to be able to compete in the Mr. Olympia until the miracle happens, as his application has not been responded since last year. So it must be a very hard time for him, and I hope he does not lose his courage after all this. Ross Flanagan has recently given a preview of his physique. He has humongous legs development, and he's already very shredded with striated glutes at this stage of his prep. I hope he brings a balanced and fuller package, and I think it's safe to say he's going to be mixing the top 15 in his first Olympia. Brett Wilkin has pulled out of Mr. Olympia 2023 as his body was not responding well due to digestive issues. It must be a very difficult decision for him, so wish him a very fast recovery.
I will not be competing at the Mr. Olympia here in 4 weeks' time. The body was not responding as it should be from the get-go. I was vomiting, a meal or two a day, which I would then try to replace. I was nauseous, I was dizzy, and then pair that with, some unwanted diarrhea issues as well.
Tonio Burton is showing off his flaring quads development in less than 4 weeks out recent update. Whereas Hunter Labrada has given a preview of his back in his latest update. So that's all guys, it's take a lot of time to make this kind of videos, so hopefully you like and share with your friends, and thanks for watching.